This week on nerdherfers, Micah changes his name to Skynet. Brent starts a new company named Cyberdyne Systems. And I finally confess that I was probably created by a computer in a secret government laboratory somewhere in the desert. We're talking about all things AI. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the program, nerds. It's good to have you here. I am the real, authentic Larry Brantley, and I'm here with the real, authentic Mina Donahoe. Mina? Yeah, let's try that again.
Mina Bird.
I'm here. Keep it. I'm here with the real, authentic Micah Donahoe.
Greetings, programs.
And the real, honest-to-God Brent Williams.
I love you, AI.
And behind the camera is the artificially generated producer of our show, Chris Hockenberry. Welcome to Nerdherfers. Hey! If you haven't already done it, please go out to the website called nerdherfers.com. Hit the subscribe button right now. You can actually do this while you are listening to the show or watching the show on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nerdherfers. Hit that subscribe button as well. Hit us up in the comment section. You know what to do. It's going to be a good time for everybody. Listen, we're just going to have to get into this as soon as we can. We're talking about a very serious subject tonight, something that we've talked about a lot on the show, but tonight we're going deep on it. And before we do that, though, we have to catch up on something that we like to call Nerd News. It's Nerd News. It's all the nerd news that you need to hear. And by God, based on our topic tonight, you really, really need to hear it. Micah, I have something important to say to you.
Please.
Which I will say to you later. Brent, it's your turn. It's your turn. Let's go to the anchor deck.
No, it's not. It's my turn.
No. There we go. That's what we needed.
Thank you.
Sorry. All right. Hit it.
All right. Chess master Magnus Carlsen.
That's an awesome name.
Yeah.
He was forced. He played chess against the world. Yeah, it was an online thing where anyone could get in there and they would collectively vote on the next move against him.
Yeah.
Both sides had 24 hours to do their moves, and the collective, we'll call them, backed him into a corner 3 times in a row. Checked his king 3 times in a row. I'm going to kill this little bug. Checked him into a corner 3 times in a row, so they had to call it a draw. I just thought it was kinda cool.
Wow. Somebody draw at a computer?
So
No, Magnus Carlsen is a man.
Right.
He's the
chess
champion of the
master.
world.
Played
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
he played
the world were real people.
The
Real
world,
people.
the actual people of
Yeah,
the world. Yes.
not the planet.
So apparently,
I thought the world was like an AI program
Oh,
that I was
gotcha.
not aware of.
Gotcha. No, he played against the
So
world.
apparently, crowdsourcing works.
Yay for the collective. All right. So here's a new thing. Talking about AI tonight. Honest students are finding that they are now having to prove that they're not turning in work generated by AI.
My daughter's going through this right now.
Yeah.
Really?
In high school.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
What universities are doing is they use these external companies. Like there's this one called Turnitin, and teachers can run or professors can run the work through it, and it determines if it's AI or not. And this one student's material, it was like 15% of her grade, got tagged as AI, and she got a 0. So she had to go through the process of proving it. Thankfully, she had the logs from Google Docs where she typed her paper.
Okay.
That she could prove that she actually did the paper
Thank
herself.
goodness.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous, man.
Yeah. That's how bad it's
By the way, people our age, youngsters now are using ChatGPT to write their doctoral thesis.
Yeah.
And by the way, many of these people are going to be taking care of us when we're older. So I'm just saying.
They're going to ask ChatGPT how to take care of us.
Yeah.
How do you remove a spleen?
All right. Last story. Amazon has introduced this new robot that Micah will love the name. It's called the Vulcan.
I'm good with that.
And it has touch sensitivity. So basically, it's a warehouse robot, and that can do the job as well as a human because it's an AI-powered robot that has all kinds of sensors, touch sensors, camera sensors, that kind of stuff. But it knows how much pressure to apply as it picks up a package without damaging the package.
Wow.
And it can place packages in boxes or on shelves just as accurate as a human can. So
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor judges you.
We're
Yep.
losing. We're losing.
Yep.
We're losing. That was really depressing. So thanks, Brent, for this episode.
So we should
hit
go.
that thing. Yeah. Nerd news.
I should change that. I should change it to go do. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so sad. We are literally being replaced. Okay. Before we get into our weird, deep AI conversation tonight, we're going to tell you what we normally do on this show is we have a bottle of whiskey that we like to review and try, and somebody brings a cigar. Tonight, that's me. Hooray. And then we have the topic, which you already know about. We're talking about artificial intelligence tonight. And when I say we're talking about artificial intelligence, I mean Brent is going to talk for an hour about artificial intelligence, and Micah and I are occasionally going to make fart jokes and try to add some levity to the situation because we're all doomed and AI is taking over.
That's right.
Who brought bottle this week?
I did.
What did you bring? And please tell me it was not generated by AI.
Well, it's not going to be nearly as impressive as last week's bottle.
Well, listen, that was a different altogether kind of thing.
Yeah.
We are sure what you've brought is lovely, and he has his lovely brown bag.
I have to say, it looks copper to me.
It does?
Are you
Yeah.
Are you now okay? You become that guy.
I'm just saying.
I'm okay with it.
To my old
more
eyes-
like copper.
To my old eyes, it looks more copper.
It's kind of puce.
But I will
if
call
I'm
it
being
brown.
honest.
I'm feeling a dark sunset.
Yes.
All right. So
Cow patty.
I actually love this bottle bag, and you can get it on our merchandise website. It is so much fun. All right, so what I've got you guys for Florida. What I've got for you guys tonight.
Micah started speaking French for no reason at all.
her.
Oh, he's the Swedish chef
He
now.
is the Swedish chef. All right, so what I've got for you tonight is something special that I really enjoy.
Okay.
We haven't done it on the show before, but it is kind of mainstream, but it's the
Hey,
upper grade version
hey.
of mainstream.
Remember that time I said we haven't done this before and we had totally done it before?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not going to repeat
It's not one of those.
Okay, good. I'm the oldest.
It's all good. What I have for you tonight is Four Roses single barrel.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
All right.
All right.
I
know this
love
one.
this.
This is 60% corn, 35% rye, 5% malted barley. It is bottled at 100 proof and aged for a minimum of 7 to 9 years.
And once again, it looks like Micah was sampling it on the way over.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, he had to have something to wash his cheeseburger down with.
That's at the end of the night.
It's chicken fingers on the way over.
So if you guys remember last week, we reviewed a bottle of Blanton's single barrel, which all Blanton's is single barrel. And we talked about the fact that single barrel means that every bottle is bottled from a single barrel of the product. It is not blended as most bourbons are.
Yeah.
And Blanton's was the first to do it, but I've had that single barrel, and it is oh so yummy.
Yeah, there is another version of this, and I can't remember all the specifics on it, but there is a kind of a dark, kind of a brownish red.
Is it the
look.
cask strength?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And I've heard that one is immaculate.
It's good.
But
It's
I
good.
don't spend a lot of time in proof over 100. So this, not like Chris. I'm sorry, bro. All right. For the magic sound.
Less talky, more drinky.
The magic sound.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh,
That was a
yeah.
good one.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
my gosh.
I felt that one.
I did right in my nethers.
right there.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
That was all the way down to
All
the
right.
nethers.
Let me
Good
pour
one.
some up.
Yeah. Your glass, sir.
I don't pour myself first.
Give me. All right.
I
So
think maybe you do need orangutan arms.
we're pouring. Well, if I had a baboon in my pocket, I'd be fine. But I don't.
Nerdherfer logo.
Wow, very nice. And what does it say on the back of that glass?
It says nothing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
It doesn't say free
Ooh,
sample.
that smells good.
Thank you very much,
that nose
sir.
is-
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Woo! Let's go. So now that I've become accustomed to a single barrel, I kind of know what I'm going to get on the nose. So I'm getting. Oh, now that's got a little more ethanol on the
Yeah,
nose than
that's
the
100
Blanton's
proof,
did
yeah.
because at 100 proof, you're going to burn a little bit of your nose hair out.
Yeah, but it's the nose hairs that get in the way of the true scent.
Oh my
Creme
goodness.
brulee.
Heck yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, oak, deep, dark oak.
Yeah. This is very rich.
Oh man, that's like that's not even like butter. That's like marrow.
Did you get some, Chris?
Oh, he got some.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear the joke we made about
Oh
his
yeah, that's
glass?
right. I'm
Come
sorry.
on, man.
I was there.
Pay attention, bro.
There is something so creamy and smooth
Yeah.
about this. I'm actually getting a really like strong, smooth, creamy vanilla.
I'm getting
Well, I said creme brulee. So that I totally agree with you. Like that.
But without the toastiness. Like
Ooh.
I feel like the
there's
cream.
not, there's not a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a caramelized sugar.
No, I want to
But
almost
the
say
creaminess.
Yeah, I
like
want
when you get underneath the crust of a creme brulee.
Yes,
you get
I'm
to the
getting,
creamy part.
I almost want to say, and I want to hear it. I actually do want to hear it, Brent. I'm almost getting like a non-sweet Bluebell homemade vanilla ice cream.
God,
On the finish for
I
me,
just
I'm getting pineapple.
what?
Yeah.
Hang on, I don't believe you.
I believe you.
Yep.
Wow.
100%.
100 proof.
I'm not getting pineapple, but I'm getting a lot of good stuff. So we'll
I'm
just
digging that.
All right. So we got the Four Roses single barrel. Now, I think this is going to pair very well with the cigar I brought you guys tonight. Now, I'm a huge fan of Nicaraguan cigars. Everybody knows that. And tonight, I've brought one of the OGs of Nicaraguan cigars in terms of boutique. So there's a guy named Pete Johnson, and he used to be a heavy metal guitarist before he decided to go into the cigar industry. And because he's very heavily tattooed, he called his boutique cigar company Tatuaje, which, of course, means tattoo in...
French.
Keep going.
Scandinavian.
Keep going.
Lakota?
Close. Spanish.
Oh, Spanish.
I know, yeah.
I thought you were saying Bosque, but okay.
So,
That would have been awesome.
so Pete founded Tatuaje Cigars in 2003. He is a huge fan of Cuban cigars, and you will notice that the bands on these cigars are very small and sort of plain. So it's just a brown. So this is the Regios.
Looks
This is
like a
the
fleur-de-lis on
This
there.
is one of
Yeah.
it is a fleur de lis. This is one of the original
Thank
blends of Tatuaje.
Thank you, sir.
He was a very smart guy because he married into the Garcia family. Those are the guys who make my father's cigars. And so he gets some of the best tobacco in the world to play around with. This Regios, it's a Robusto. It has an Ecuadorian wrapper, Nicaragua binder and filler. This is a full-bodied cigar. Very much, in terms of body, it's like what we had last week with the Davidoff. But this one is a little better price point for me, anyway. And it is one of the original blends that Tattoo Pete did. And he's still making this blend starting from 2003. So it's still a great seller. So this is the Tatuaje Regios.
Okay, I did manage to get my my band off, but it is a little ragged. So if anybody gets a better one,
I'll take care of it.
On the nose.
Hey, Hawk, do you still have my cutter? Yes, you do.
I have
Would
a
you
cutter you
pass
can
that
use.
back? Oh, I got my... Look, the reason I love this cutter is because I thought it was dead and then you fixed it for me.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like I have to use it.
On the nose, I'm getting a mahogany
Mm-hmm.
right off the top.
oh, I get it.
Yeah. Mahogany, leather.
It brings me back
deep
to
woody.
when
Now-
I lived in Mexico. All of like the closets and stuff were made out of mahogany.
Really?
So this was the smell I walked into every day.
What a great way to wake up in the
so
morning
good, yeah.
and put your black T-shirt on.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is a Nicaraguan cigar, so you're definitely, once you start smoking this, you're going to get some pepper. Let me bend myself in a weird way.
I love how it's double capped too.
Yep.
Ooh,
So
the
I actually,
draw.
a few years ago, back when I worked in the cigar industry, I went to PCA,
yeah.
which is the Premium Cigar
What
Association.
is that?
It's like a
Big-
menthol or something.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Menthol?
No. But
no,
there's
no,
something.
but it's like a minty.
No, you're not wrong.
Yeah, spearmint.
Yeah, there's something
mint going on.
herbaceous in there that's sort of on the sweet side.
I mean, I know it's not flavored.
No, it is not.
Happy
But,
to get back to my V cut. Look what it did.
Woo! That was deep.
May I just go
Wow.
ahead and promote the Scotty's cutter and lighter and draw enhancer and puncher?
Yours for the low, low price of?
Who's lighting some? Did somebody smoke some weed in here?
Oh no, I think that
probably
there
our-
might be something in our ash can that's set on fire. That might be one of the shop towels that's burning right now. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, if there's carcinogens in the air, we've had them already.
What, like this whole garage isn't
Yeah.
asbestos?
I got to tell you, though, for the second Scotty's cigar lighter that I've purchased, this one's behaving a lot more.
More better.
More better.
Ooh.
And as I say that,
right?
Would you like my very inexpensive torch?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Oh man, ooh, do the retro on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great retro hell. Yes, that is definitely a full-bodied cigar.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
Hope everybody ate a good dinner.
We are in for it tonight, boys.
Yes.
No,
we are.
no, I'm happy with this.
No, it's a great
This
cigar.
is my speed.
And I do think that it pairs well with the Four Roses single barrel. And I'm going to prove that right now by taking a drink of my bourbon and then taking a puff of my cigar. Mm-hmm.
This is not giving me the typical leather hay, all the various cocos and stuff, and I'm having trouble placing it.
Oh, that goes so good together. I'm not even getting pepper on this. Not yet, anyway.
Wait till the second, third, but I'm getting a little bit of it.
There's no fruit. Yeah, so all the typical mainstays of flavors that you get off a cigar. I mean, I know that I'm smoking a cigar, but I'm not getting the typical flavors that I would typically get.
I don't think I got one smoke ring out of that.
Oh wait,
I was trying really hard to
We're
get smoke ring.
doing smoke rings?
I was trying
can do
to.
that.
I think I got
can't-
one minor one.
I can't do that. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, Gandalf.
Nope, not working.
No bueno.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
one.
you got one. You got one.
It didn't turn into a ship or anything.
It
though.
did not.
Hold
And so,
on.
and
Yeah,
so
a
I'm not
dragon.
impressed. A dragon. Okay, so we are off and running tonight. We've got our Four Roses single barrel. Thank
There you
you, Micah. We've got some Tatuaje Regios cigars
That's so
from
good.
Nicaragua. And okay, hey, listen, we've all heard about it. We've all used it to one degree or another. But tonight we're going to do a deep, nerdy dive on the subject of artificial intelligence.
Who we love and respect.
That's right.
Yes, the
We're your
reason
friends.
yes,
We are- we
I
are
want you to
AI
remember
familiars.
these people when the AI overlords take us over. That
Who we love
we were
and
your friends.
respect.
That's right.
Yes, Brent. Let's start with this. I know you've got some nerdy facts about AI, so give us some nerdy facts about artificial.
Well,
intelligence.
actually, what I thought I would do is I would kind of start with a primer.
Okay. Yes,
then we'll-
I,
and then-
I need that.
And then we will work our way through how AI is used and then into the existential threats that it poses to humanity.
Fair enough. It's going to be a light episode tonight.
All right, so the birth of AI is actually started back in 1950. 1950 to 56 is when AI started. So, Mikey, you may know the name Alan Turing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know what the Turing test is then, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Alan Turing had a thought: can machines think? Right? And so they developed this test, and there's a mayfly. There, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Squirrel. There's a test he developed called the Turing test, and basically what it is a test that is applied towards computer software, computer program, to see if a human can differentiate if they're talking to a machine or a human, right? And if you can't tell if you're talking to a machine or a human, then it says it's passed.
Is it
passes
like the
Turing
Voight
test.
comp test?
Well,
Voight.
It's,
in a way,
it's coming.
Yeah,
It's coming.
It's Voight comp.
yeah. In
I
a way,
said
though,
Voight comp.
he said
You said
Voight comp.
voy.
I did not. I
Voight.
said Voight comp.
Voight comp.
That's the bourbon.
Whatever, dude. Anyway.
Well, okay. So anyway, that's when the term artificial intelligence was coined and came into use, right?
Did Turing coin it, or did somebody else coin it?
No, actually, it was another guy.
Okay.
I will come up with his name in a minute. So basically, what happened was, when this started and they started figuring out that they started building thinking machines. So AI has gone through several what they call winters, and basically what happens is that the computing power of the time can't keep up with the advancements in the technology, and so they would lose funding, and basically they have to wait. And these winters can last 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And then they basically have to wait until the technology catches up to what they can do. And we're actually in a place now with the AI we have today, and even our powerful computers, where we have AI systems that they're almost too much for the computing power we have now.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in a phase of what's called narrow AI, and basically what that means is it's made to do a task. Like you have like generative AI that makes a picture, and that's what that model's built to do.
Can
right?
I ask a question? So, having been a moderate programmer in the past, not near to the complexity that you've done, I don't understand what differentiates the programs that we've written in the past compared to what is considered AI today.
I will get there.
Okay.
Yeah. Just let me cook, man.
Sorry.
Just kidding. So anyway,
That's just Micah being Micah.
yeah,
It's fine.
Questions are welcome. Questions are welcome. It's okay.
F?
So
I'm sorry, dude. You just made
Yeah.
it very clear the questions are not welcome.
That's right.
Oh my God.
So anyway, we're in a phase of what's called narrow AI, and like I said, most of the models are trained to do a certain thing, right? What we're not in yet, but what's coming soon, as soon as computing power catches up, is a place called general AI, right? And that's where AI is as smart as and can do the same basically thought processes that humans do,
Okay.
right? And AI, people don't know that AI doesn't actually reason. That's actually a misconception about AI. AI is actually a predictive engine is what it is. So it takes this body of data called the corpus, it ingests all that data, and then you ask it a question, right? And based on the data, it's just like humans. Everything that we do is based upon our past experience, everything we've done, right? It's all influenced by that. So there's no such thing as, Nicholas Hopper coined AI, there's no such thing as unbiased AI, by the way, right? Because AI works with the data that's fed into it. So there's a human element doing that, right? So basically, what AI does is it takes all this data and it calculates probable outcomes and then returns the most probable outcome of that data. So when you ask it a question, like, why is the sky blue? It'll go back and look through its body of data and find everything related to why the sky is blue and present you with the most probable answer. So it's basically a prediction engine is what it is.
Okay.
Right? The third phase of AI is called superintelligence, and that's when we are
die.
no longer relevant. Yeah, that's when it's smarter than any human on Earth and can do anything that we do better. So that's the final phase, right? And
The one we want to prevent.
yeah, the one we want to prevent. Yes, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
like encourage because we love you.
Yay.
So basically, what I wanted to talk about a lot was how AI is all the rage right now, right? It's the thing, and there's a lot of concerns about it because we already talked about, like in nerd news, how everyone is using it for everything. I mean, to be honest, to be fair, I used AI to generate a lot of these notes because we're talking about AI, and I wanted to see what AI would say, right? So I asked it a question. I said, if you were on a podcast, right, what is it that you would want the audience to know about you?
Ooh.
Right? And it gave me an answer that I coined, 2 truths and a lie.
Oh, boy.
Right? The first answer was, I don't think I simulate. Right?
Interesting.
It said, I don't have beliefs, opinions, or experiences. I generate responses based on patterns in the data I was trained on, not personal understanding. That means I'm great at mimicking knowledge and language, but everything I say should be interpreted through a human lens. Right? Bias and misinformation are real risks. Basically, it says, because I reflect the data I was trained on, I can reproduce biases or inaccuracies that exist in the world or on the internet. That's why responsible use includes critical thinking and fact-checking, which critical thinking and fact-checking are arts that we're losing. Those are skills we're
100%
absolutely losing,
agree.
right? Even before AI became a thing, we were losing critical thinking skills.
Oh, so you've met both of my sons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the third one, and you tell me which ones are truths and which ones are the lie, right? The goal isn't to replace people, it's to empower them. The best applications of AI enhance human creativity, decision-making, and productivity. The future of AI isn't about domination. It's about collaboration and about reshaping how we approach knowledge, work, and imagination.
Bullshit. Sorry.
Actually, I was going to say that it was all the above.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
No, 2 truths and a lie. That's what I call it.
They're coming.
But you only
Yeah.
gave 2.
No, I gave 3.
you get 3.
I don't think I simulate. Bias and misinformation is a real thing. The goal isn't to replace people, it's to empower them.
All right.
Third one. It's totally, they're coming. They're coming. Keep going.
Well, so and there's different levels of AI, right?
So the level that most people are using right now, is that the first edition?
Those are called GPTs, is what those are. That's why it's called
What
like
does
ChatGPT.
GPT stand for?
I didn't put a note on
Fact
that.
checker,
Yeah, I put a note on that.
So I know it's got to stand for something.
butt
does.
wiper,
But okay,
fact
stop.
checker.
Are we using? Are we still what you would consider to be within the first generation of AI?
God willing.
We are what's called narrow AI right now. That's where we are, and that's basically our models are trained to do a thing. Like we have models that are trained to generate pictures, our models that are trained to generate music, our models that are trained to answer questions about facts and stuff.
So right now, AI is a monkey doing sign language.
A little more than that.
I know. I mean, that's no one.
Yeah, a little more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, generative pre-trained transformer. Thank you.
Generative
Thank you.
pre-trained
Yeah.
transformer.
Yeah.
More than meets the eye. Yeah, that's coming.
I have to say that I'm actually a little bit of no, I'm not a little bit of I'm a big fan of what's happening right now with this iteration of
Why?
of AI. I can use words.
That's
Hold on.
next.
The artificial intelligence.
So get this.
JI comes next.
So I run a role playing game every 2 weeks with my buddies, and we're playing D&D 3.5, arguably because 3.5 is the most versatile and what?
Pure.
Thank you.
Pure Chris
Well,
has-
and there were so many unanswered
Thank
questions from 3.4, so
Well,
I had to.
3.0 actually. But actually. So anyway, so when I write a story for a game that I'm running, I'm very story intensive. I like to find a happy balance between hack and slash and storytelling and problem solving, because role playing games is just creative thinking for adults. It's oh shoot, why am I blanking? It's improv.
Yeah.
It's improv.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yes, and it's wonderful. So here's the thing. When I write a story, I write like a base story and story arc a la Deep Space Nine, where I give an entire story of where you form the beginning, and then you form the end, and you let your players get there, right? So I've created all these basic outlines and structures for the things that they will go through. So the other night, I'm running a game session, and ChatGPT has been my best friend recently, because I can walk these guys through and I can attack them with goblins every once in a while, and that's all cool and everything, but I want to make it more interesting.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to ChatGPT, and I'm like, build me a random encounter with this particular set of variables. And it spits it out and gives me all the rewards and the experience points that we gain from it, and all. I mean, it goes the extra mile.
Yeah.
It's like the employee you've ever wanted.
Right.
And I'm dumbfounded, because the guys had an amazing adventure last game session last Saturday.
And then it'll ask you questions like, "Would you like me to format this in a usable format for your
yeah,
games and stuff?
Do you want me to add blah 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 blah?
Yeah.
And it went so far into the specific version of D&D that I was running. That's why I was so impressed with it, because it was following not only 3.5 rules, but anytime I asked it something that wasn't in the rule book, it was like, okay, so that's not in 3.5, but if you wanted to homebrew, then here is a possible answer to this. And my head just exploded. I'm giving these guys answers right away, because if anybody's actually played a D&D game before, if something happens that's out of character, out of the book, the DM has to go back to the source material, look up the material while they all drink Mountain Dew and shoot the shit, and then you come back with the answer that they're looking for, arguably 15 minutes later.
Right.
ChatGPT solved that for me in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Where I was able to deliver. It was so amazing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail, but
No, that's the problem.
solution.
No, I've been using it. I've been using it to write the descriptions of our episodes, right? And if you go back and you look at the Andor episode description, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll ask it. I'll say, "Hey, you're the host of a weekly podcast about this, blah blah, and here's your subject," and write something with puns and witty and yada yada, and it'll kick something out. And most of the time, I can use part of it or edit it, or it helps me generate an idea to write something. But last week, it kicked one out for Andor, and I just pasted and copied. Because it was like perfect.
I've been reading the descriptions that you've been sending out, and I've been sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, Brent's an incredible writer."
I'm not.
He's not.
It's ChatGPT. And a lot of people may not know this, but our ending music for Nerdherfers, that's AI generated.
Yes, it is.
What?
Yep.
Totally AI generated.
Yeah. Crazy. So anyway, one of the one of the major issues that I have with AI, so I'm a software developer, right? And every editor that you have now, 4.0, every editor you have now has some type of integration for AI. Like I use VS Code, which is probably the most popular editor at the moment. Originally it was GitHub Copilot, which was okay. And it's like you would start typing out a function or something and it would just complete it for you. It would like suggest, here's the completion for that. And a lot of times it's actually what you want, right? So you just tab and you're done. I switched over to using Gemini, basically because they have higher allowances. But the code is like, most of the times it's okay. So I've never been able to go to, like I have Windsurf.
Gemini is from Google.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have everyone, so there's one called Cursor. That's probably the most popular AI-driven development platform. I do not understand how this company is worth $30 billion at the moment because I cannot generate any usable code with this application.
Somebody bought it.
Yeah, I cannot. So I would go in and I would say, I'm going to write a mobile app and here's what it needs to do and here's what I need the first screen to look like. Could never get the thing to run. It wouldn't run. And every time that you go, okay, well, this is the error I get, and it go, you're right, let me fix that. And it goes and fixes that. And then it breaks something else. And then you say, okay, well, now this is the error again. It goes, oh, okay, I can fix that error. And then it goes and it undoes the first fix. And you just end up in this vicious cycle of just breaking and fixing the same two things over and over again. It's so ridiculous.
Do you think it's trying to frustrate you on purpose?
No. No, what I'm trying...
Do you think it's trying to kill you?
What it points out is, so, everyone's saying, oh, AI is going to replace software developers. It's not. It's changing our jobs. We're becoming architects is what we're becoming.
Not
right?
until we get to general. Right?
Yeah, not until we get to general, right? But we're becoming architects, okay? So AI is good for writing simple functions. Like if I have a complex application, the problem with AI is it doesn't understand, and this is what a programmer has to do, you're looking ahead in the future, right? Every piece of code you write, you're going, how does this affect other areas of my program?
Yeah.
Right? AI can't do that yet. It has no idea. You give it, you say, I need a function that does this. Well, it's in a box.
So it's eliminating the app developer?
No, it's not at all. It's not at all.
You said that you were the architect.
No, you're the architect, right? And what you do is, at the moment, you have to basically, you still have to design the entire system. And you have to keep in your mind everything that's going on. You're the broad picture guy, right?
Right, the architect.
Right, exactly. You're the architect. So then you tell AI, I need a piece of code that does this, right? And it'll write that piece of code for you.
So you have to refine your junior developer's
Basically,
code base.
Yeah, basically. But AI, I've never once, even on a very simple application, said I need an application that does X, and I've laid out exactly what it needs to do, and the inputs and the outputs and everything I need. It's never once generated usable code for me.
You know what's going to happen? I'm sorry, I got to interrupt just one second.
No. But
right.
If I go in and I say I'm writing an application that does this, I need a function that does this one thing. AI is great at doing that, and I can plug that function in, right? And then I can integrate that into my overall application.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So Larry is actually going to, for the viewers at home that are listening to it only on a podcast, Larry has gone to sleep.
Yes.
And Larry is going to finish his cigar before I do, which is almost uncanny.
Yeah. So one thing I found... Yeah.
Brent dismissive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One thing I found using this, well, I'm going to talk from my experience because I'm using it every day.
You're not smoking your cigar.
Yeah, I am smoking. I just
not.
had a couple draws. You didn't see me because you were asleep.
No, that's fair.
But the way I use it every day is like I'm learning a new framework.
Yeah.
Right. I need to ramp up on it quickly, and that's what developers do. Is basically, we know how to design systems. The differences between jobs is what programming language do we need? Are there any frameworks we're using? What databases are we using?
Sure.
Right? And a lot of times when you walk into jobs, you have to learn those things. Well, I have found that AI is great as a tutor to ramp you up on those things very quickly. Right?
Fair.
So you can say, in this framework, how would I do this? And it answers that question for you. You don't spend your time, scrolling through Stack Overflow or getting some weird answer off Google's new AI.
Is it weird that I really like Stack Overflow? I liked going to the community and sharing opinions and finding answers and finding solutions that way.
But it's not that way anymore. Now it's people, razzing you because you don't know when you ask a question, they're like, what kind of idiot are you? You don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah.
Trolls are trolls.
Yeah, trolls are trolls.
I mean,
Trolls
those
are trolls.
exist,
It
but I
has
never
come to that.
experienced that on Stack Overflow.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
everybody's really helpful.
Yeah, it's more and more, man. I'm telling you, it's really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's really bad.
I guess that has something to do with the fact that I haven't been a developer for nearly 7 years
Yeah,
now.
let the adults talk, Micah.
Wow. That basically, audience, means that Brent will be having the
I'm just
conversation
kidding.
with himself.
I'm kidding. Yeah. yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. But anyway, so that's how I've been using it. So what I have to be careful of as a developer, though, because what happens is, you know, if you want to get real scientific about it, when you have to figure stuff out, that develops neural pathways in your brain that helps you with creative thinking and figuring things out.
Agreed.
When you start using AI as a crutch, that's when it becomes a problem, right?
Yeah, and so there was a guy, a philosopher, talking about this more than 10 years ago by the name of Sam Harris. And if you've never read any of his work, he is a neuroscientist. He's also a philosopher. He's written several books. The most recent one, I think, deals exclusively with artificial intelligence. And then there's also a guy named Ian Bremmer, who's a global threat specialist. And his latest book is called The Power of Crises. He talks about 3 global crises that are going to impact every human being, regardless of race, religion, creed, culture, whatever. And one of them is artificial intelligence.
Right.
And so, but Sam Harris was talking about this more than 10 years ago because he very accurately predicted what AI was going to look like in the beginning and where it was going to go. And when a guy as intelligent and well-spoken as Sam Harris gets nervous about something, I feel like the entire world should be nervous about something.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think that this guy is actually following the natural progression of things based on everything we know of Terminator and The Matrix?
Well, I think you and I are following those things because, but no, someone like Sam Harris he's actually doing the work. He's doing the research and he lives a life of academia and he's a very intelligent guy.
He's very likely a programmer.
Well, I don't think he is a programmer, but I mean, of sorts, he's a neuroscientist. But you talked about developing neural pathways, and that kind of brain work is not only something that actually happens, but it's necessary if we want to keep developing our brains. There has been
What's necessary for survival. I mean, holy goodness.
There's been a ton of research on the subject of Alzheimer's disease that suggests that even if you find out that you are genetically predisposed to Alzheimer's, there are things you can do to recreate or create new neural pathways by doing certain exercises or and I mean certain mental exercises, playing certain games, that kind of thing. And so I mean, I can tell you from experience that I have 2 sons who freely admit that they are using ChatGPT as a crutch. They are not. They're not thinking. They're not using it as a tool. They're using it as a way to pass their classes. Yep. And that, so, you know, never mind the whole joke about Cyberdyne systems and all that and the AI overlords. It's causing us to become intellectually lazy. Mm-hmm. And this is a hill I will die on.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I believe as a culture, specifically here in the United States, we are becoming intellectually lazy. I remember learning critical thinking skills in high school.
Yeah, they don't even teach that in college anymore.
They don't.
Yeah.
So, so it's not that I'm, at least right now, half a bottle into Four Roses, worried about the AI overlords taking over and us creating some sort of Matrix situation. I'm simply very concerned about the fact that as a nation and as a culture, we have become intellectually lazy.
Well, I actually asked ChatGPT, I asked it, what are the existential threats to humanity for AI, right? And for some reason I didn't put it in my notes, but I remember what it was saying was one of the major ones was, and by the way, Chris pointed out, the CEOs of the top 5 AI companies all say AI is an existential threat to humanity. Yeah. But one of it said, given. Basically it's like, if AI is used within these lanes, then it is a great tool for humanity to help them work better, be more productive, actually be more creative and invent new things. But if it gets outside those lanes, then that's when it becomes a threat. And that's what general AI and obviously super intelligent AI would be. Matter of fact, most of the CEOs of AI companies today will tell you they don't even know how it's working at the moment. Because one of the components of AI, so there's several layers: machine learning, deep learning, that kind of stuff, neural networks. They don't even know. Basically, those are made to emulate like how neurons work in the human mind, and they don't even know how they're working most of the time, which is very scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and as a software developer, that's a place you never want to be in. You never want to have code that works, but you don't understand how it works, because if something goes wrong, you don't know how to fix it.
When you're in the process of developing an application, do you ever talk about the first third of the cigar?
A little clunky, but I'll give you credit.
I'll allow it.
I had something earlier, but
Yeah.
then Brent was actually on a good train, so I didn't want to interrupt it.
I'm kind of in the second third at this point,
I'm
but you
close
guys
to the
go
second,
ahead
but we'll talk about the first.
because you've been talking and I've been smoking. Yeah, I'm enjoying this cigar. So one of the things that I love about Tatuaje is, and I say this about cigars all the time, what I favor is consistency.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And this has been a consistent. The burn is good. The
Mhm.
construction is great.
The smoke is great.
You're getting lots of good billowy smoke, and
And this
I'm
pairing is freaking
It
crazy.
really is good. Yeah, very good. This is definitely a full-bodied cigar. I feel like I've gotten a little more mellow, and that may be because of the high nicotine content of the cigar. So we'll see.
No, I'm
see how it
I'm
goes.
feeling the same thing. Everything is so consistent with this one. I feel like the last few cigars that we've actually done have maintained a consistency that has been absent from some of the other ones we've done.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like the Fat Bottom Betty?
You know what?
You know what?
wait. You know. If anybody's watched Frisky Dingo, you know. Thank you.
But
Chris has always got my back.
anyway.
Okay.
It's funny to me though the places where AI appears, right?
Explain.
Well, it's basically there's some version of AI and everything. Let me back up. I was going to start talking about kind of the building blocks of AI.
Yeah.
And there's a thing called natural language processing, right? And that is like one of the basic building blocks of AI. And what an NLP does, natural language processor does, is its job is to interpret natural speech.
Okay.
So if I give it a sentence and I go, this orange is delicious, right? It goes in and it grammatically breaks that down into chunks, right?
Mm-hmm.
In AI speak, it's embedding is what it's doing. It's
Okay.
it's creating a numerical vector, and that's how AI searches basically. Is when you type in something, it breaks those words down into chunks, and creates vectors for those, and then compares those against the vector data in its corpus, right? And finds the best matches. There's a thing called retrieval augmented generation, which is very popular. I have many applications that I use that in. Basically what happens is someone types in, like, I'll take a bunch of documents. Say you have a business and they have a frequently asked questions section. I'll take those documents and I'll vectorize those documents, right? Create embeddings for those documents. When someone asks a question, I'll take that question and I'll create a vector of that question.
Yeah.
And then I search against the database of vectors, vectorized documents, and it pulls out the most relevant matches, right? And then I'll take that data and send it along with AI. And AI is all about prompt, right? You have to create a prompt. You have to be succinct, but you have to be detailed, right? AI has things called where you can set the temperature. Like you can say, like, how creative can the AI be? Like if this question is a little bit outside of the data that I'm giving to it, how creative can AI be in its answers, right? And the lower that temperature, the more it has to stick to what's in the actual data you send to it. And the higher the temperature, it can actually get more creative.
Gotcha.
Right? But anyway, you pass all that along so you can tell AI, here's the data. I need you to answer within the context of this data. So that, like, when businesses build, say, like chatbots, right? And that chatbot only needs to answer questions about that business and what that business does. You tell it, only answer questions that are relevant to this context. So if someone comes in and just goes, why is the sky blue? It'll say, sorry, I can't answer that question. It's not within the context of what I'm built to do, basically. Wow. Right.
Let me ask you this.
Actually, not anymore. Our producer held up a sign that said prompt generation is a career. And that was a big thing at a time. But actually, those jobs are completely disappearing, right? And the reason that's happening is because the models are getting smarter. Before, when GPTs were first being used, it was, you had to be, like I said, the prompt was all about, the difference in good data and bad data could be 2 words in your prompt, right? Now they're getting smart enough that they can, again, they don't reason, but they predict based upon they simulate reasoning by doing prediction models based upon the input you give them.
Yeah.
Now they're getting so much better at that the prompt is still important, but not as important as it used to be. So the whole career of prompt engineers is actually fading away at this point.
Larry, what was your question?
My question was, and it's more of a philosophical question. What do you think is the turning point to superintelligence?
Well, first of all, no computer can process the way our human brain does at this point. And that's the goal of AI, is to get it to a point to process as fast and do as many calculations as a human brain can, right? So basically it's technology, to be honest.
That eliminates a lot of jobs.
It does. We had this conversation the other day, and we were like, when AI started coming out and the whole thing about jobs being replaced, is basically the musicians and artists were going, yeah, our jobs are safe, right? And you find that they're actually the first ones getting replaced.
Oh.
Because now AI can generate music that sounds like a human wrote it, right? Let's be fair that most music today is just, there's very few artists who aren't regurgitating music of the past. And how can they not? Because, there's only so many notes and only so many combinations that it's inevitable that some songs will sound the same, even though they weren't actually influenced by other songs they sound like, right? And that's basically how JI works. JI,
there it is.
AI works. I'm telling you, it's the next big thing.
There
JI.
it is.
We've coined
JI.
the term. I want to make that official right here that we coined the term.
I want a
JI.
nickel every time somebody says it.
That's right. But so there's this really cool thing called
Quarter.
a generative adversarial network, a GAN, right? And basically you have 2 things. You have the generator, and you have another piece of software that is the person testing everything, or the person. See, I'm already doing it. The program that's testing everything this thing generates. So that's how generative AI actually works. Is you say, hey, I want a picture of a dog. So you have one part of AI that's generating pictures of dogs. This other part of AI is testing what this thing's generating and saying, no, I can tell you generated that. And so try again.
So
try again.
AI is playing its own devil's advocate.
Right. So it's saying, I can tell this is generated. Try again. So the generator tries again. And this process goes back and forth in the loop until the detector can't tell that it's an AI generated object. And then that's the result that you get back.
But philosophically, wouldn't the devil's advocate part of that program always know that it's being generated by AI?
No.
How?
Because it doesn't know that the other thing is an AI generating it. All it's getting is input for images.
Okay.
And it's been trained, like, say you want to make a picture of a butterfly. This AI is trained on real pictures of butterflies, all different variations, colors, whatever, right? And so it has this corpus of data to test against. When the generator generates an image, it'll go and compare it to what it knows, right? And if it doesn't compare within a reasonable variance of what it knows, then it'll say, this isn't correct, try again. And it keeps telling the generator that until it generates a picture that this other thing will accept.
Could AI get smart enough to tear that wall down?
It's possible. Yeah, that's absolutely possible.
I mean, then we're really starting into the worry category.
We're already to the point where we have AI agents, right? We talked about this before. And they are smart enough, depending on the agent, but they are smart enough, like if you give it tasks to do, if it doesn't quite know how to do the task, or it's something that it wants to generate, it wants to do something else in the meantime, like it's a multi-part task, it'll actually create another agent to go out and do that part of the task while it's working on something else.
And there's that word again, Micah.
There it is.
Agent.
Mm-hmm. So that brings me to my next question. This episode's not going to have anything to do with movies, is it?
It's not.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I mean,
so those of you that are listening right now that are looking for any kind of AR reference to
AI reference or
AI?
JI?
JI reference.
A
JI
JI
reference.
reference
Yeah.
to movies, you can go ahead and just stop the recording.
Copyright
right now.
Nerdherfers 2025. JI.
19. Oh my gosh.
I almost said
You were way back
1995.
there.
Yeah.
No, that's just a product of who we are. 19.
So we were having this conversation prior to recording tonight because one of you brought up the fact that the wonderful actor James Earl Jones,
Oh yeah.
before he
Chris.
passed away, basically consigned his voice over to artificial intelligence and gave permission for his voice to be used basically in perpetuity to be generated by an artificial intelligence engine forever, right? So this is an example, and this affects this is something that is very close to me as a voice actor and an on-camera actor, that his legacy is now going to continue artificially, but that the Screen Actors Guild had filed a lawsuit against the company with whom he made this agreement, because they're saying that there are many actors out there who can approximate the voice of James Earl Jones, and that this is causing them to be out of work.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're still alive.
Indeed. I mean, the episode's not over yet. That's all I'm saying. But it does raise.
I mean, we all saw Superman 3, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Did anybody think
but
of the supercomputer person with the integrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it
my
does
God.
raise an interesting philosophical / ethical question, which is,
Absolutely.
IP has become all the rage now. Like
Yeah.
everybody talks about IP, intellectual property. Who owns what can be owned, what can be considered original. And we're now at a place where that can actually happen, where, clearly James Earl Jones basically secured not only his legacy, but all remaining members of his family on through the generations with, what I can only imagine was a gigantic payday
Yeah.
when he agreed to allow this company who can artificially recreate his voice as Darth Vader or the voice of CNN or anything he's ever done. Yeah, so my producer is saying it was close to $1 billion that this agreement was
I mean,
for.
come on. If you're James Earl Jones and you're like, I want to take care of my family. I mean,
Yeah, his family's
how
set
hard
for
of a
life.
decision is that, right? Yeah.
But this is where it gets a little sticky for me, right? Because there's legitimate arguments to be made that I could go into a recording studio and be told to, okay, so let me give you the basis example. Years and years and years ago, I did a stock photo shoot, right? Now, what that means is several actors are hired, and we are going to be put in a situation. In this case, it was sort of a holiday family situation. So there are several pictures of me individually and members of our family. We're sitting around a table. It's been very well set. There's, a lot of food on the table. There's maybe a Christmas tree. We're all wearing autumn clothes, sweaters, and whatever. But every single picture that is taken in that photo session can now be put out digitally into the world, and any company or individual who is willing to pay a price for those photos can use them. And here's how I know that's true. Not a year after I did that stock photo shoot, I walked into a Kirkland's with my wife, and they have several picture frames on a display, and I was in one of the damn picture frames. Not only that, but about a week after, a friend of mine who is gay sent me a screenshot of his gay dating site, and I was on that one too.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So
Somebody had used you as a profile picture?
well,
Good
no,
on you,
not
man.
no. They had used me as an advertisement
You're an ally.
because because basically I honestly my agent did not explain this to me what a
Yeah.
stock photo shoot was. what it was for, because quite frankly, I didn't get paid enough for it. But now it is conceivable that I could walk into an audio studio, read a section, read anything. That stuff could be copied, plugged into an AI program, and they could do an entire performance in that voice that I used, whether it was my voice or an accent that I was using or whatever.
Excellent.
And
Is that a sign-off that you had in your contract?
Huh?
Is that a sign-off that you had in your contract?
No. So now I'm very careful about that because I still do like a lot. So the big one for me is video games. So when I do video games, I read those contracts very carefully. And anywhere there's even a remote chance of them saying, we also reserve the right to copy your voice for future work, I'm redlining that 100%.
Yeah.
And here's the problem is that a lot of actors, I think it's more, we're more aware of it now than we were, but a lot of actors don't read the contract. And you don't realize what you're signing away, right?
Because you just want the work?
Well, because you're happy to have the work, but I learned a long time ago, read the contract.
Well, I think it's also an issue of it becomes one of those problems where you're not willing to do that, but other actors are, right? And so, like, you would lose the gig because you won't do it because another actor will do it, right?
Yeah.
Are we at that point yet, Larry?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely we are. Absolutely we are. And I think you told me once that you were asked actually to do some recordings for voice trainings.
Yep.
Yeah.
That almost sounds like a nudity clause. Like if you're not willing to do nudity, then you lose the job. But if you are,
well, it's what does the job entail, right? And so I've said no to.
I love how Micah can just correlate that with nudity.
Well,
I mean,
it's a real thing in contract.
No, I know it
nudity
is
a real thing. I've
It'd be weird if it was in a voiceover contract though.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
I think, so the reason
we're
why I
going to
bring it
require you to be nude in the sound booth.
I think-
during the
I think of,
My phone's going off.
oh my gosh, we're all going to die.
No.
Oh, we're not going to die.
We're
Okay,
not going
great.
to.
That was AI
we thought
warning us.
that was the moment right there.
AI
going,
was like, you need to stop.
The
what you're talking
revolution has
I
begun.
need to wrap this up.
The revolution has begun.
No, so the reason I brought that up was because I was reading something recently about Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick will not do nudity.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that this has prevented her from having
Well,
certain contracts or roles that she's wanted to play
I don't
in
think
the
so
past.
because
No.
there comes a point in your career where you are famous enough actor that doesn't become a factor. for you.
Exactly.
This more affects people who are trying to become famous actors.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So with someone in the Anna Kendrick realm, people just know not to even offer her those roles.
Right.
Right. So that's not going to happen.
Right.
Which is why
Um,
she's producing and writing everything she's doing right now.
Pretty much, yeah. So, but my point to all of that is that as an actor, I now have to be extremely conscious when I go into almost any gig of what I'm agreeing to, because I will absolutely not agree for them to be able to sample my voice to then use in something else
Right.
in perpetuity throughout the universe without some serious compensation.
Yeah.
And the serious compensation is not on the table.
Right.
So, but the
Or at least
technology,
some kind of residuals.
the technology exists for them to do this now, and it's very, very easy, you guys.
You know, Carrie Fisher had a really great line. She said, and I think it was some award for George.
it
George
was.
Lucas.
I just saw this recently.
Yeah, where she goes, George Lucas owns my likeness, and every time I look in the mirror, I have to pay him $1.
Yes. that by the way was one of the greatest speeches ever given.
Yeah.
Because it was Carrie Fisher. We should actually find that one and put it up on the website because it was hysterical and also very prescient.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is as an actor, this is the world I live in now. Is that I really we used to joke about this when it was first coming on board, and you know we could hear for example, one of the best examples I can think of is the movie Rogue One, where they artificially created not only Peter Cushing's Grand Moff Tarkin, but also Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Now, I thought
Not
Moff,
very well.
Well, no, not very well, but I thought Moff was better than Leia.
Yeah, Moff Tarkin looked great. Leia was not.
But-
so much.
Yeah, I mean, they were just in a room where there was like 95 degrees,
But
and everybody was sweating.
Cushing's, the voice
Yeah.
was frighteningly accurate.
They actually got sued for that.
Not surprising.
Yeah, because I don't think they had permission to do it.
What, to duplicate his voice?
Yeah, his image or his voice. His estate actually sued them for that. Yeah.
What's the old adage? It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Well, I think there was something in the original contracts with him that was like if you really kind of shaped it, you could say that permission was given. I think that was the argument, right? So they sued, but then the argument said it's like, well, I mean, in the contract it said that we could do this, and that was the basis for their defense.
well, here's what I want to know.
I want to know about the second third of the cigar.
Okay, let's go.
I want to know about the end of the cigar.
Well,
You're not quite there, Mike. I would say you're still in the second third. You're at the end of the second third.
Yep.
It's a great, consistency. I mean,
I'm actually getting more chocolate now.
Are
I
you?
am getting chocolate.
I'm high as F.
Yes.
There's the nicotine transfer right now is so strong
It's very, very strong.
that I am like mellow as can be.
Yeah.
you know, the funny thing is for being Nicaraguan, I have to say, you have to say with an accent.
This
You
is
can't
have to say it with an accent,
Nicaraguan tobacco. I have
Nicaraguan.
never gotten the pepper.
Really?
Not once.
I'm
have I gotten
still
pepper.
not getting pepper on this one.
Well, okay. You guys just know what pepper tastes like. By the way, go to your sachets that Chris provided tonight in an envelope and smell pepper and
Smell the
you-
best Indian food restaurant you've ever
I know,
Yeah,
right?
been in ever.
But also Swedish chocolate or Swiss chocolate for whatever reason.
I know. It's like this Indian food.
There's wood chips in there you can
This
chew
Indian
Yep.
food restaurant
Yep.
makes the best chocolate ever.
Ever. Here's my question. What is the existential threat?
on. Well, so oh my gosh, there's so many things. So in anytime there's any type of new technology or anything, you always have bad actors.
Mm-hmm.
We've already had instances where someone first of all, before I start this story, I'm going to start with, I think people that prey on the elderly, there's a special circle of hell for those
Oh,
people.
absolutely.
I would love to send every one of them there personally.
Yeah. So you have people like you have a grandmother and they get a phone call and it's their granddaughter. I'm stuck. I don't have any gas. I need some money. Can you Zelle me some money? Use this email address. Blah, blah, blah.
sell?
And or
I'm
buy
sorry,
me a
you said
gift card
grandma.
or whatever. Yeah.
Don't make light. This is serious.
Yeah, this is dead serious.
Sorry.
And so these people end up sending money, and what it is, it's an AI generated voice. These people will go to social media, and this is the other thing. One of the reasons I hate social media so much is you're posting videos of yourself. You're posting selfies and stuff, right? Well, so now
Image
they have
and sound.
Now they have your facial. They can generate images from your face. They have sound. They have your voice. They can generate your voice, and they use those to generate like these fake phone calls asking for money. So you think it's a family member that's in trouble that needs money right away. I'm in
That's
jail. I
horrible.
need bail. Send it here. Western Union it to here, whatever. Right? And it's not. It's people scamming people.
And deep fake has been around for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
And again, this is what comes back to intellectual laziness for me, is that we have, as a nation, I feel like we have been programmed at this point. Now, I'm not going to say not Gen Xers, because I know many Gen Xers who fall into this trap, is that you create your bias silos. This is where you want to live.
Right.
And anything that agrees with one of your bias silos, you're just going to take at face value.
Yeah.
Including a deepfake video
bias
of a
confirmation.
political figure that you hate saying something so unbelievably heinous or
Right.
whatever. And so this is a real thing. And here's the problem: we're quickly running out of people, human beings, who are willing to be skeptical enough to go, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I need to look into that.
Another thing that happens, and I've noticed this so much, is like I subscribe to a bunch of nerdy newsletters and that kind of stuff, and my news feed's always filled with that kind of stuff.
You?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And when I'm reading an article, I can tell that when it's been AI generated.
Yeah.
A person didn't write that, right? And half the articles you read on the news, I'm going to use air quotes, are not actually news articles. They are biased editorials,
Right.
that are usually promoting some type of product or idea or something, right? They're not actually a news. So anytime someone comes to me and they go, "Oh, I saw this on the worst thing you can say to me is I saw this on the internet." But if they say, "Oh, I read this article from this website," I'm like, "What's the website? Where did you get it from?" And people get mad at me because I'm questioning what they're telling me. And I'm mad at them, or I'm frustrated with them because I'm like, you're just believing it at face value. You're not willing to go do your own research.
Exactly.
You apply no critical thinking to this at all, no logic to this at all.
Right.
You're saying, here's an article I read somewhere. It's got to be fact and it's got to be true. And
So
I'm telling you.
And the first thing you
Yeah.
can say is, I guarantee you that article agrees with what you already believe, right?
Exactly. And okay, so I saw this documentary about social media, and all of these VPs and CEOs and stuff of the social media sites, Twitter and all these guys, they're like, they don't allow their kids to use social media because those algorithms are totally geared towards confirmation bias.
Yep.
So if you support one political opponent, or you support one type of lifestyle, whatever, all you're ever going to see in your feed are things that agree with that or things that piss you off about it. That's all you're ever going to see.
So you said something about people needing to do their own research, but AI is making it more difficult for people who are non-technical or less technical
That's
than
one
you.
of the threats about AI. And so I feel like,
I feel like you can't be too angry at them.
No. Well, I mean, you can.
I can.
If they're less
You can
no, wait.
because- no,
If
no.
they're less technical than you, then
Okay.
you can't expect them to
Technical-
go out and do the research
No.
that they could before.
No, technical has nothing to do with it. It's about critical thinking skills, and there needs to be everyone needs a healthy level of skepticism.
Agreed.
Right? And the problem is AI has become that crutch. So now you go to AI and AI tells you something, and you go, "Oh, well, that's 100% true." Well, I can tell you just from using it to do programs, right? Trying to write applications, that a lot of times the what it spits back are things that are maybe old or outdated and they don't work anymore.
But also, based on your social media, your preferences,
Right.
your data's out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be confirmationally biased toward what you already believe. I don't think AI is ever, unless you specifically ask it. And by the way, this is critical thinking. I want to hear a contrary opinion to my opinion on this subject.
Right. Yeah.
What would you consider
Which is a whole other subject, because now society is trained that anyone who doesn't agree with you is some form of racist or bigot or anti-gay or anti-this or anti-that, just because they don't 100% agree with your opinion. So now we've lost the ability for healthy intercourse.
Right. Civil discourse.
Civil discourse. Right. Sorry.
You're absolutely
It's a valid
right,
word,
dude.
but we're all 12 and we know what popped in our minds. So we've lost that ability, and I totally blame social media for that, right? Because you have these people out there who are influencers who know nothing about a subject telling you all about this subject. And now you go, "Oh, well, this important," again, air quotes, person is telling me this, so that's the way it is, right?
Right.
And it can be completely wrong.
And the importance is based on number of subscribers, number of likes,
how many times it's been shared, whatever.
So the
metrics are completely wrong.
Yeah, so they're not going to listen to a journalist who won a Pulitzer Prize for writing for journaling on this exact subject. They're going to listen to a media influencer who has 1 million followers on TikTok.
My argument is there's no such thing as unbiased. That is just does not exist, right?
Agreed.
I believe the word unbiased, there's nothing that's ever unbiased. So even if this Pulitzer Prize winning journalist writes something, there's bias in what they produce.
Well, but at the same time, and this is the human element that you say AI doesn't have yet.
No, it does have it, because who trains AI? Where does it get its information from?
That's fair. But the human element that I'm talking about in journalism is constantly questioning yourself and saying, how is this overly biased? How am I doing? Am I presenting both sides of the story? That's what journalism is.
That's what it used to be.
Well, it is what it used to be. Unfortunately, it's not anymore. I agree with you on that. And so it's very, very difficult to just because I can remember. I'm old enough to remember watching CBS Nightly News with Walter Cronkite.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what I know about, at least at that time, current events, everything, came from one guy who clearly had his own biases, but did his absolute human best to present both sides of the story in order that I could make up my mind what I thought.
And I think that that's the best you can ask of anyone, right? The problem with AI is you can't ask it to do that.
You cannot.
Because it's trained on a body of data, and that body of data has bias in it. Yeah, fake news. And that's what I loved when I asked ChatGPT about what would you want people to know about you, and I was actually happy that it came back with, I have bias, and it's not because of what I think or believe, because I don't have those things. It's because of the data I was trained on. And it's pulling data off the internet now, and we all know how reliable the internet is, right?
So, do you think there is a point? I guess what I'm asking you, Brent, is what is the tipping point? Where is the moment that we need to be? I mean, we're all concerned right now. Everybody on this podcast is concerned about the negative implications of artificial intelligence. What is the tipping point? At what point does it become?
Yeah, I think it's right now. I think we're at that point, because we're at the point where we have companies that are getting billions of dollars in investment to further develop AI, right? Mm-hmm. And it all depends on which direction they want to go with it. And I'm already scared. Like I said, as a developer, I never want to be in a position where I have a piece of code that's functioning and does what it should be doing, but I don't know how it's doing it.
Right.
You never want to be in that place, right? And like I said, all the CEOs are admitting they're already in that place. They've created these monsters that they basically have no way to control at this point.
Oh, that is
right.
Oh.
So I believe we're at that tipping point. I believe we have decisions to make, about how far do we go with this?
Okay. What are some other decisions we have to make? You can't unring the bell, right?
Well, no, but I think, there's people that would say, oh, we need legislation around that. I'm just like, and my argument is you can't legislate morality.
When has that ever helped?
When has that ever helped? When has legislation ever fixed anything, right? I mean, just because it's illegal to kill someone doesn't stop people from killing people,
mm-hmm.
To me, AI is a tool, right? To put it in simplest terms, AI is a tool. And if it's used correctly, it's a wonderful thing. Right? If I use a hammer to drive a nail, I'm doing a good job. If I use it to pound someone's head in, that's not right.
Yep.
Right?
Maxwell's silver hammer.
Yeah. So like as a developer, at first I was very resistant to using AI, right? And the first iterations of it were so extremely frustrating to me because basically it got in my way. In programming, we have this thing we call the zone, right? And it's a hyper-focused place, and you're in this zone, and you have 5,000 calculations and future predictions going on. You know where you are in an application. You know everything it's affecting. You know what's going to happen because of everything you're doing, and you're in this zone. And sometimes people come by to pull you out of that. Hey, that's why I hated working in an office. Because I'd be in a zone,
wanted to talk
and somebody come by and go, "Hey, what'd you do Friday night?" I'm like, dang it, because it's hard to get back in that place, right? So anyway, like I was saying, if we use it as the tool it's intended to be, the first iterations got in my way and actually made my job harder. So I put it down for a very long time. It's actually gotten to the point now where I can go in and say, build this little piece for me, right, or build the skeleton of this piece for me, scaffold this out for me. Mm-hmm. And it's actually helping me be more productive at this point.
Right.
Again, it can't build a full working application for me, but it can build pieces I need for an application I'm building.
Sure.
Right. So I can find myself.
So it's almost like
subcontracting,
right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And
but that's safe because
and that's what I'm saying.
You still have the ultimate authority.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have the final say, and I think that's where we need to be. Right.
Yeah.
It needs to be a tool that we use, which means we're going to have to put limits around it. We just absolutely have to. And I hate to do that. I hate to say that, but I believe that's the only way we keep it from getting past that tipping point.
Right.
To where we have these monsters out there doing things that we don't know how they're working. We just know they're working.
Right.
Right. And that's when they can go out and make their own decisions and do their own things. Like we talked about one of the nerd news things about how all the credit card companies are developing AI agents that will have your credit card information and can go set up purchases for you. Right. And they all say, oh, but it still requires you to approve those. Well, I think it gets to a point where that's no longer an approval thing.
Right.
And now there's privacy concerns because they have your financial information.
And now the AI decides.
Yeah.
You need toilet paper.
Right.
So I'm just going to order.
I'm just going to order toilet paper for you
because I have your information.
Next
you
thing
gave
you know,
me permission for your credit card.
18-wheeler pulls up with a truckload of toilet paper. Right?
Unless it's snowpocalypse, where toilet paper is scarce.
Okay.
Hey,
I have to tell you
that was a real thing.
So during snowpocalypse, I did this thing.
Oh God.
I wrote this little bot, right? And it specifically targeted Amazon. It targeted a few other places, but it was a thing where on Amazon, like toilet paper would show up, and 5 minutes later it's sold out. Right. So if you weren't there when it showed up, you're out of luck.
You're not getting toilet paper.
Yeah, you're not getting toilet paper. So I wrote a bot that was going in basically every 5 minutes and was scanning for different kinds of toilet papers and stuff. And if it found it, it would order it for me. Right. And then I got the equivalent of a cease and desist from Amazon after about a month. But I will tell you, I had enough toilet paper that we didn't order toilet paper for 2 years. I'm not even joking.
What about paper towels?
Yeah, no, paper towels weren't a thing. It was all toilet paper.
It was toilet paper, man.
Yeah, but we didn't buy toilet paper for 2 years after that.
Never occurred to anyone that you could wipe yourself with paper towels.
Matter of fact,
or pine cones outside. Like
we made the mistake.
Ages.
We made the mistake of kind of jokingly telling our friends about it, and the next thing you know, I had all these people going, "Put me on that. Put me on that."
Oh God, yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's probably what I would have made my millions if I was smart enough, setting up a toilet paper bot during COVID. And then I could afford to buy Blantons and Davidoffs every week.
I know, right? Some of us aren't that smart. Anyway.
Oh my gosh,
hey,
should we tell some jokes?
I want to tell some jokes. We need
Micah's eyes have glassed over.
We need to lighten this up. Brent, hit us. Let's do the thing. Come on. All right. Right now. Go. Let's go.
Hold on, I broke my microphone. Give me a second.
Don't break your microphone, man. God bless. Here we go.
It's the greatest joke in the world.
All right. Now, we're going to lighten things up just a little bit by telling some dad jokes. We're going to do 3 rounds of dad jokes. It's called the greatest joke in the world. We try to make each other laugh. We've been drinking a little bit at this point, so it shouldn't be too difficult. And we're going to start this week with my good friend Micah Donahoe.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Mine too.
This thing is like, jumping all over the place. What's the internal temperature of a tauntaun?
Lukewarm.
It is.
Oh! Damn!
Star Wars jokes. Come on.
Yeah, dude. There was no way he was not going to do that. That is awesome. Hey, did you guys see the movie about the little fish that had cancer?
No, I did not.
Finding Chemo?
Gosh, that's effed up.
Oh
yeah, it is.
It is. All right. Well, scientists predict human-level artificial intelligence by 2030. Maybe sooner if the bar keeps dropping.
That was your smoker grenade.
I love.
You broke Larry. Are you happy?
Larry's
Are you
broken.
freaking happy now?
Do you get it, Larry?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
So I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Scientists predict human-level artificial intelligence by 2030, or maybe sooner if the bar keeps dropping. The bar being human intelligence dropping.
Okay.
It's not funny when you have to explain it.
Well, or it's just not funny. But whatever.
It's a little too highbrow for this crowd. I'm
Is
sorry.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Ouch.
All right, Micah, what do you got?
Oh my gosh. To the person who stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word.
Okay. See, that I understood. That I got. That I understood.
That was for the layman, Brent. That wasn't for you.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Here's another one for the layman.
You have my neurons firing from this conversation.
Yeah, you do. I hate it when people make jokes about the Holocaust. And frankly, I won't stand for it.
See? You broke his mic.
Even my microphone even fell on that one. It was like, nope. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, I joked with my wife that AI is in everything now. I laughed. She laughed. The toaster laughed.
Where's the ostrich? Is it me?
It's you.
All right. You know what? People tell me I'm condescending. That means I talk down to people.
Okay, that was good.
Oh, okay. I can't top that. But I was at my boss's funeral, and I get kicked out. Because evidently the family didn't think it appropriate for me to be kneeling next to the coffin going, "Who's thinking outside the box now, Kevin?"
And you don't work in an office?
I don't.
You don't know why that's so funny?
Yeah. But I knew you would.
Okay. I'll try to bring it home.
Bring it.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Drink.
Now.
Okay. What does AI eat for breakfast?
Our souls?
Cereal. Cereal.
Oh, yeah. Cereal.
From the iOS guy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm an iOS guy, too.
No, you are too?
Yeah?
Oh. Am I the only Android guy in the room?
Sorry, bro.
Yes, you are,
Oh,
weirdo.
that explains a lot.
Larry, if you didn't know, he was actually being a jackass on that one for this.
Okay. That's fair. But I just assume he's doing that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh,
and
Pretty
I'm
much my
right.
personality. Yeah.
And that's going to do it for this edition of...
It's the greatest joke in the world.
Listen, we've been talking about artificial intelligence tonight, and I want to thank you, Brent, because you clearly are very read up on this, and you had some really great points. And I really thought that I was going to be able to just interject some humor in between, but I got so drawn into what Brent was saying that I'm actually fearful now.
And he didn't have any water to, like, wet his whistle during
No,
all of that.
he
didn't
just
voice
kept
creak at
going.
all.
Like
So
like
I have something to say in the tome of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
let's go.
Achievement? Unfunniest episode ever.
Oh no, I don't agree with that. I mean, well, okay, probably.
Okay,
Yes,
most
Is that a
serious-
good series?
Most serious episode ever. It's good. You
Oh
should
my
see
gosh,
it.
dude,
As a matter
okay.
of fact, I will tell you this. I got the Audible version of that. It is amazing.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So
I gotta check
here's a funny story. So Chris and I are reading the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Well, you've already read them. Whatever. So he read them when Matt Denneman was self-publishing. I am reading the versions that Ace actually is the deal he made with. So they are really funny. So Matt Denneman, the Dungeon Crawler, that was really good, Micah. That was actually really good.
I got
like,
you.
You used your clog to move the bourbon over.
It's not a clog, it's a mule.
No, it's
I've never had anyone kick a bottle of bourbon at me before.
Well, you know what? Put that off your bucket list,
There
buddy.
you go.
Anyway, the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, this is completely unrelated to the episode, but it is a fantastic book series, whether you read them or listen to them on audio. And I just told this to Brent a couple of days ago, I'm going to a con in Omaha, Nebraska, actually technically Council Bluffs, Iowa, in July, and I'm going to be at the con with the guy who does the narration for the Dungeon Crawler Carl
He's
series.
Nice.
great.
What's his name?
He's great.
I can't remember because I just found out a couple
Chris?
of days ago, and I met
Oh,
one
wait,
time.
you read. You actually read.
Yeah, he reads.
Here, I'll tell you.
Denneman. So Matt Denneman wrote them, and he started during COVID, actually. And they are super funny. I'm not going to give you the breakdown because it would take. I can't do an elevator pitch because it's just too complicated.
Yeah, I got an ad while I was listening.
Jeff Hayes. Jeff Hayes is
Jeff
the-
Hayes.
yeah.
All right.
So I'm actually going to be at a con in July with Jeff Hayes. So I promise you, I will get you an autograph and a picture
Yes, please.
with Jeff Hayes because
Yes, tell him I love him.
because I did listen to the sample.
Yeah.
and he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I told Larry it's a cross between the voice he does for Carl is a cross between Patrick Warburton and John Wayne.
So get that in your head.
Yeah, and it is
Wow.
greatness.
Yeah, no, it is really, really
greatness.
good.
He does so good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And hopefully he is never replaced by artificial intelligence. We've been talking about AI tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out the podcast. Go to nerdherfers.com. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit us up on YouTube. We do have a YouTube broadcast channel. We'd love to hear your comments or read your comments, I guess, on the rare occasions when we bother to do that kind of
Hey,
thing.
I go and I check them.
Do you?
I get notified.
Okay. Oh, you get notified.
Yeah.
I don't get notified.
Any trolls?
No.
Damn it!
I want more trolls.
I know we need more trolls.
Somebody rip us apart.
I just feel like if somebody there was that one troll we got. I think a guy said to you that you look like you touch kids.
Yeah.
or
To be
something.
fair, I had
fair.
I had a purple mohawk at the time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Look like you touched.
I'm
kids.
actually, I'm kind of like your hair's a little normal right now. So what's
know.
that?
Yeah,
dude?
it's kind of boring.
It is. I know.
You need a summer dew.
I have a little bit of remnant from the purple. It's
Well,
like
Can you
turned
give us
gray
some
now.
sort of sunset,
you
a
need a-
blend from red to yellow?
You need a summer dew, dude.
Okay.
Because he's got T-shirts, I got nothing, and you got hair. So I think
All right.
we need to do something. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being a part of the podcast. Do go out and subscribe to us. Thank you again for being. Listen, it's going to get weird in the next few years. We've got this AI thing. It's real. It's in the world. We can't stop it. But be responsible, and more importantly, think for yourself.
Yes, please.
Please think for yourself. Don't just listen to the internet. Don't like do the work, right? Like, I know this is not a really popular thing to say right now, but don't be intellectually lazy.
Don't even take everything we say at face value.
100% don't do that. Jesus Christ. No, don't do that. But look stuff up. Be informed. It's not as hard as you might think, but it will absolutely make you a better human being. It will make you a more rounded human being. And just know that we told you to do that. Okay. Love you guys very much. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Bye. This has been a production of Nerdherfers. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer.